Good afternoon, I'm Jazzenai, and this is the Week's Worth, your weekly breakdown of what actually mattered in politics, culture, sports, and beyond. Let's get into it. Harvard University has officially lost its certification to enroll international students. The decision came from the Department of Homeland Security under the Trump administration, citing vague allegations of anti-Semitism and unproven ties to the Chinese Communist Party. According to the New York Times on May 22nd, Homeland Security issued a notice that Harvard Students and Exchange Visitor Program (SEVP) certification is being revoked, effectively blocking the university from hosting international students. That's about 6 to 800 students who are now in limbo, many of them scrambling to transfer to other schools or worse, facing deportation. Now, what does that mean for the government? The official line is national security. HS Secretary Kristi Noem pointed, citing concerns over foreign influence, claiming Harvard has been soft on campus unrest and anti-Israel sentiment. Harvard's not having it. In a statement, the university called the move a politically motivated attack on higher education and academic freedom. They've already begun mounting a legal challenge. This recent notification from Homeland Security follows months of tension between the Trump administration and the elite academic institutions. We've seen escalations over diversity, protest rights, and wokeness, with universities becoming the new battlegrounds for cultural control. Now, international students bring more than tuition dollars. They've brought research, innovation, cultural exchange, and economic impact. According to NAFSA, international students contributed over $30 billion to the U.S. economy in 2023. So if they leave, it's not just a loss for Harvard, but it's a loss for the country as well. Our country is currently in the thick of a season where immigration, identity, and elitism are political lightning rods. This move plays directly into that narrative, targeting elite coastal institution in a way that plays well with a certain voter base. To quote immigration attorney Fiona Hill, who spoke to CBS News Boston, this is academic hostage taking, and it's sending a chilling message to every university in the country. Get in line or we'll come for your students next. Whether the courts will reverse it remains to be seen, but one thing's clear: this isn't just paperwork. It's a policy with real-world consequences. This story is developing, and sources will be at the end. Young Thug is back in the news today. Complex posted on their Instagram account late Thursday night. Thug tweeted, "Damn, Cudi a rat, LOL," in response to Kid Cudi's testimony during the federal trial against Sean Combs. The tweet was deleted within minutes, but the screenshot circulated fast, setting off a conversation about street code, trauma, and truth-telling. Now, let's unpack this for a minute. For those who do not know, yes, Kid Cudi, real name Scott Cudi, was subpoenaed to testify in the Sean Combs trial. According to the New York Times, Cudi testified that in late 2011, after Diddy discovered he was dating Cassie Ventura, he broke into Cudi's home, locked up his dog, and later, allegedly, firebombed Cudi's Porsche with a Molotov cocktail. Cudi said that when he confronted Diddy later at a club about the burned car, Diddy responded coldly, "I don't know what you're talking about." Now, once again, Cudi was subpoenaed. He's not a co-defendant. He's not involved in anything criminal. He was testifying about something that happened to him. However, Thug still went on Twitter and called him a rat. And we know that is a term in our culture that historically refers to someone who cooperates with the feds to avoid consequences for their own crimes. Now, that's not just necessarily in hip-hop culture. We've all seen a mafia movie or two, but that involves with any sort of group, gang, criminal affiliation whatsoever. However, Cudi is not a rat. That's not the case here. The backlash was immediate towards Thug. On Complex's Instagram page, where I first saw the story, there were a lot of fan comments, and I actually going to read a few to you guys today. So let's see here. One from Andres X. Breaking news: Kid Cudi being judged for being a modern citizen. Paranon Art said, "You would think after spending all that time locked up, he would grow up, maybe get a little bit more wise, LOL. Laura says, "Taking back my free Young Thug comments, he didn't learn a thing." I Am Serena said, "Because he told his truth about experience? Weird." And then Jenny 8, "Let's stop normalizing protecting abusers because of a street code." Clown emoji. Straight code was in parentheses. You can say the complex comments were not having it, and they just were not on Thug's side at all. But there is a bigger issue, is how this tweet exposed, again, an ongoing tension in this culture, the blurred lines between cultural loyalty and real life harm. Cudi, a civilian, was not telling on anyone. He was standing up for himself. His car was torched. His home was violated. His dog was disrespected. But to some, they could see that as betrayal. Cudi, as far as I know, Cudi does not owe any loyalty to Diddy. They don't have a relationship. The only connection that they probably had was Cassie. And Sean Combs allegedly torched Cudi's car. So this is about accountability, breaking cycles of silence, especially in an industry that's too often protected abusers and punished the people who spoke up. I was seeing something from a cultural critic, Justin Tinsley, who once wrote, "Hip-hop has always had a code, but codes evolve, or they calcify into cages. Let's continue evolving, because they have the cages waiting for us."
One of the reasons I will never forgive this country is I remember going to get a letter of recommendation from the president of my college university for law school, and we were discussing my reasons for wanting to go to law school, and he asked me, he said, "Hey, do you know how prisons and jails determine how many cells to make for future inmates?" And I said, no. Like, my best guess was to look at how many people were in poverty and go off of that number. And he said, close. They look at all the children in third grade in that area, and every child that is reading below the third grade level, there's a cell waiting for them. Fun fact.
All sources linked in the show notes, including the original reporting from the Express Tribune, screenshots from Complex's Instagram, as well as Reddit's fan commentary thread. If you want to go deeper, check those out. And we can move on to sports. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals gave us everything we needed: drama, breakdown, heartbreak, which led to a unforgettable, dare I say, tragic buzzer beater by Tyrese Haliburton. But what it really delivered was a rewriting of two very different team narratives. The resilient Pacers rising to their moment, and the Knicks retreating into old, tiring, frustrating habits. Let's start with New York. So the Knicks blew its 14-point lead in the final 3 minutes of regulation. It wasn't a collapse. It was a meltdown of fundamentals. Couldn't inbound the ball, froze on offense. Their defensive switches were late and lazy, fouling. And even the stars, Jalen and Josh, trapped into chaotic plays, screaming confusion, not confidence, not sure of ourselves. At the Garden, the Atlantic details, the Knicks forgot how to operate in the game's most crucial moments. 5 turnovers in the final 5 minutes, mental lapses, missed free throws, and most of all, a broken inbounds play that showed zero urgency or cohesion. Meanwhile, the Pacers kept believing, even down 14, even when the Knicks had 100% win probability with 2:51 left. Yes, according to the Ringer's model, it was 100%. Aaron Nesmith caught fire, hitting 5 threes in the final 3:14. While Tyrese Haliburton floated a buzzer beater that felt like it hung in the air for 10 whole seconds. It hit the back rim, popped up high in the air, and dropped in the basket. I was watching this in my home like, no way you just did that. What the hell, Burton, indeed. This was round 1 of war. Now, Indiana, they're like a sleeper to the people. Haliburton said, "We've had to win in so many different ways. We hold each other accountable. And this is a team that trusts its continuity, its pace, and its poise. And right now, they're literally doing circles around the Knicks. And it's crazy because New York is caught in a loop." So I was reading The Atlantic, and The Atlantic basically said the season has been a series of wake-up calls, answered just in time, and then snoozed again. It's a team that swings from brilliant to broken depending on the moment, from blowing out Boston to getting blown up by miscommunication. So you're asking, Jazz, what does this all mean? I'm going to tell you. Game 1 wasn't just a loss for the Knicks. And it wasn't just a loss for just the Knicks alone. It was a loss for Knicks fans. Dare I say, Indiana just checked us. They're not playing around. Hallie shot a 2 and tried to do the choke. You wasted it. And I don't want to hear anyone talk about aura farming. What is that? Anyway, Indiana isn't here to play with us. We already know what it is when it comes to Knicks Indiana. So what should we be doing? What should we be doing? They're not here to play with us at all. They're trying to show what resilience looks like in NBA. And that's what the Knicks need to start doing. We're getting humbled. We're getting told, basically, anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. And we're saying, no, you can't. They say, yes, I can. We said, no, you can't. They say, yes, I can. We say, no, you can't. That's what we need to be saying. New York, we need to say a prayer. And we need to really make some ish shake. Go New York, go. Knicks Pacers tonight, 8 o'clock TNT. Let's move on. This is the end of the week's worth, where we just talk about some little quick things that are happening. Not like the main stories as usual, but just a little tidbits to go. I like a little soft, nothing crazy, and then we'll go into final closing. So let's talk about what's going on, okay? Let's talk TV. First, Summer House season wrap up. The Jesse Lexi drama has finally ended. The Summer House season finale aired this week, and yes, it delivered. Amid a bizarre Halloween and August party, Jesse and Lexi's breakup, we still got some drama happening from that. Honestly, I'm just so over them. I'm over their relationship. I'm over everything happening with them. I'm over Jesse and Lexi. I'm over the relationship again. I love Gabby, but you didn't need to be a girl's girl in that moment, because Jesse and Lexi, they're both the problem. They both wanted too much out of this. And so from Jesse and Lexi's breakup, we still got tears because it's from Amanda and Paige crying over Lindsay's baby. And it was just wonderful to see Lindsay, Paige, and Amanda sit down, real full circle moment. These ladies have spent so many seasons together, and the fighting and the crying and the yelling, and Lindsay has her daughter. Paige is newly single, and Amanda's still married to Kyle. And even with Paige's breakup with Craig, The Cut recently posted an article basically saying how Paige DeSorbo won the breakup. Honestly, as of right now, since I have not stepped back on the Facebook group chat for Southern Charm, I have not seen anything negative about Paige, and I think that warms my heart. Right now, and even Andy has said, there's a cold war between Southern Charm and Summer House. It's really North versus South. And Andy, if you're watching this, I think we might need a BravoCon segment. Put both of the cast up there and let them fight. We want to watch. We do. But if that's too much, I understand. Also, heads up, the reunion for Summer House airs next Wednesday at 8 on Bravo. And now we can move on to a science fact. Penguin poop could help cool the planet? Yes. According to scientists, penguin poop might be good for the environment. Now, scientists found that ammonia from large penguin colonies help seed clouds, which reflect sunlight and slightly cool the air above Antarctica. Now, it seems like it's one of those weird, fun science facts that you learn in school that honestly proves how cool and interconnected life can really be. So, I'll be dropping some sources for that as well. And finally, quick hit number 3. Taylor Swift faces subpoena. Taylor Swift has been subpoenaed in a sealed case, reportedly related to IP or past contracts. Not much is known yet, but fans are buzzing. Her team is silent, but the Swifties are on high alert. So yeah, those were the quick hits. Boom, boom, boom. It was very easy, very fast. But yeah, so we have now reached closing thoughts. And honestly, guys, for the first episode, I'm very grateful that you guys listened. I really appreciate you all just taking the time to support. And let's talk about it. From federal crackdowns on academic freedom to public reckonings in hip-hop, a playoff collapse at Madison Square Garden, and even a surprising sense of closure from one of my favorite reality TV casts, one theme still stands out. the power and consequences of presence. Whether it was Harvard defending their international students from the government, Kid Cudi telling his testimony in court, Tyrese Haliburton seizing a game at the buzzer, or a group of women of Bravo showing each other real support. Each story reminds us that how we show up and who we choose to be visible for matters. Not only are these headlines or entertainment beats, they're reflections of larger cultural shifts. Cultural shifts around loyalty, leadership, vulnerability, and how we choose to be accountable when the spotlight hits. As always, I'll continue to report what matters, not just what trends. If you value clear, sharp commentary on culture and current events, follow me on Instagram at The Week's Worth and everywhere else at jaz-zen-nay. Now, you can also subscribe to my Substack at jaz-zen-nay.substack.com, where I publish The Week's Worth and The Mid, 2 newsletters that stay with the story long after the timeline has moved on. For The Week's Worth, I'm Jazzenai. Stay informed, stay critical, stay strong, and stay present. Good night and good luck.